General formula for carbohydrate is CnH2n. So you see here, this is carbon and this is water. Hence, these are also called hydrates of carbon. So hydrate mean water. So these are the hydrates of the carbon. So that is why the name is carbohydrate. So these are the hydrates of carbon. Okay. So among these carbohydrates, other substances are also included, which upon hydrolysis they produce polyhydroxyaldehyde and ketones. So those compounds are also called carbohydrates, which when subjected to hydrolysis, they produce polyhydroxyaldehyde and ketone. So directly polyhydroxyaldehyde and ketones, these are called carbohydrates, and those compounds which upon hydrolysis they produce polyhydroxyaldehyde and ketone, these are also included in the carbohydrates. Now, the importance of carbohydrates, the pharmaceutical and medicinal importance of the carbohydrates. The importance number one is that carbohydrates are a major source of energy. So all the living things, they depend mostly on energy which is provided by the carbohydrates. So 1 gram carbohydrate, it is providing 4.1 or 4 calories energy. And carbohydrates, these are stored in the body in the form of glycogen in two parts, livers and muscles. So they also act as a stored form of energy. So when we are not taking food, so the energy which is in the form of storage in our body, that is utilized. So carbohydrates, they provide energy, instant energy, like glucose, fructose. When we take, we immediately get energy. And then they also act as a storage carbohydrate. So whenever there is a need of energy, so from the storage place, energy is provided. So for example, glucose, this is the instant energy. And when there is no need of energy, glucose is converted into glycogen. And when there is a need of energy, glycogen is broken down and it is converted into glucose. And mainly this glycogen, it is stored in two parts, in the liver and in the muscles. So these are the two parts in the body which reserve the carbohydrate in the form of glycogen. Carbohydrates, these are involved in the recognition process of immunoglobulins. So the recognition, we know that antigen and antibodies, they recognize each other. So this recognition is due to the presence of carbohydrates. So the different cells and different antigens and antibodies, they recognize each other due to the presence of carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are the important component of brain cells, nerve cells, like you see neuraminic acid, cerebrosides, glycolipids, and gangliosides. So in these forms, they are the important component of brain function. So the carbohydrates are needed for the normal functioning of the brain cells. Then the carbohydrates, they are the important part of nucleic acid. These are the part of hereditary material. So from parents, the instructions are passed to the children through the chromosomes, and those chromosomes also contain the carbohydrate. So nucleic acid, for example, pentose sugar, this is found in the nucleic acid, ribose and deoxyribose mean DNA and RNA. You see, deoxyribose is present in DNA, and the ribose is present in RNA. So it means that the carbohydrates are acting as a food. They are involved in cell recognition process. They also involved in the normal functioning of the brain. These are also playing role in transferring the information from the parents to the offsprings. In pharmacy, carbohydrates are used as a flavoring agents. Flavoring agents mean they impart flavor to the drugs. So in the drugs, we add flavors so that the patient can take such drugs easily. So one example is, you see, in cough syrups, we use honey. We use honey as a flavor in cough syrups. So this is going to give the flavor. Even you see Johar Jashanda, it is also having the honey flavor. So the carbohydrates are used as a flavoring agents. These are also used as a sweetening agent. So the medicines which are very bitter, so these are made sweet by using carbohydrates. So bitter medicines, these are made sweet by adding sweetening agents. The carbohydrates, they also act as binders. Binders mean they link the components, and in this way we can prepare a tablet. So the tablet which you see, it has medicine, and it also contains binders, and binders are the carbohydrates. Binders, they are needed to make the tablet shape. Then the disintegrators, these are also present in the tablet. So when we put the tablet in water, the tablet disintegrate. So disintegrants are also in the tablet. These are also carbohydrates. So most of the tablets, they contain binders, they contain disintegrants. So because you see the powder material, when we take the powder material, so if we want to make a tablet, we cannot make a tablet unless we add some binder. So binder is added so that the substance can bind. And then we also add disintegrants inside so that when the tablet is put in water, it disintegrates itself. So disintegrators are added in the tablet, and these are the carbohydrates. The carbohydrates, they also act as medicine. For example, heparin. Heparin is anticoagulant. In our body, the blood is thin due to the presence of heparin. So if the blood became thick, so heparin is given in the form of injection so that the blood became thin. It became more liquefied. The medicines, the carbohydrates, they also act as plasma expanders. The example is dextran. Plasma expander, these are the substitutes of plasma. If a person is having some injury or there is a blood loss, so there is a need of plasma. So plasma, you see, this is we have to take the plasma from the person. So the huge amount of plasma cannot be made available. So plasma substitutes are given. So this dextran, it is a plasma substitute. Plasma substitute. So if there is a blood loss due to some injury or due to some accident, so the plasma is needed, and if the large amount of plasma is not available, then the dextron is given, which is a plasma substitute, and dextron, it is a carbohydrate. And the carbohydrates, these are the important part of parenteral nutrition, the nutrition which is given by the blood vessels. So there are many diseases when the patient cannot take the food by mouth. So the food through blood vessel is given. So through the blood vessel, the food which is given, it is called parenteral nutrition. So nutrition which is given through the blood vessels. And one part of this nutrition is carbohydrates. So obviously when we call food, it means carbohydrate, it means fat, it means the protein. So carbohydrate, protein and fat, this is called nutrition. And nutrition is not complete if carbohydrate is not present or protein is not present and fat is not present. So the when the parenteral nutrition is given, so the carbohydrate is added so that the energy requirement is met. Carbohydrates, these are also used as a dietary fibers. So dietary fibers mean so cellulose, and you see that the human body cannot digest cellulose. So these act as dietary fibers. Dietary means the food fibers, and they increase the bulk in our intestine, and in this way we can have a regular stool passing. So it means that for the treatment of constipation, we give the dietary fibers. You might have heard that if the person is having diarrhea, so people say that, okay, take isbugol husk in yogurt. So the husk, this isbugol husk, this is the cellulose. So when it is taken in the yogurt, so it will swell in the intestine and it is going to increase the bulk. So this is called a dietary fibers. So even the people who are weight conscious, they use dietary fibers to fill their stomach, and the cellulose, it cannot give energy to the body, so they take dietary for the weight loss, they take dietary fibers. Carbohydrates, they have a protein sparing action. So protein sparing action mean when the person is a higher need of energy. The suppose a person, it is the person is having 2000 calories energy. This is the requirement per day. And in certain diseases, this energy need is increased. For example, in cancer, it may be 5000 calories. So energy is increased. So when the energy demand is increased, so the body start breaking its proteins to meet this energy. So that is why if the person is sick, so mostly the weight loss takes place. Even when a person is admitted in the hospital for surgery, so after surgery, there is a weight loss. The weight loss is due to the reason that to meet the energy, so the body has consumed proteins. And when there is a consumption of protein, we can reverse this process by giving glucose. So when we give glucose or we provide carbohydrate, so the energy need is shifted from protein to carbohydrate. So that is why it is called protein sparing action. Same is the case with the fatty acid. So the fatty acids, uh, when the person is not taking carbohydrate, so the fatty acids are broken down, and when the fatty acid is broken down, they produce a disease which is called ketosis. So the carbohydrates, when these are broken down, so they produce ketosis. So if we want to reverse this ketosis, we have to supply carbohydrate. So when we supply carbohydrate, so carbohydrate is consumed, so it spares the fatty acid. So it has protein sparing action and fat sparing action. Carbohydrates have analytical applications also. So paper, you see, it is a cellulose and it is used in chromatography. Agar, this is also the carbohydrate and it is used for the microbial cultures. And starch, you see, this is also the carbohydrate and it is used in pharmacy as a binder. Starch is used as a binder. Starch is used as an indicator also. So you see, starch, it is used as an indicator. In titrations, where we use iodine, so in those titrations where iodine is used as a reagent, we use starch as an indicator because starch reacts with the iodine to produce black color. So that's why these are used as indicator. And agar is also used on TLC plates to prepare the chromatography. So the carbohydrates, they have analytical applications also. So I'm going to finish until here. And if you have some question, you can ask from me.